Alright, you guys, what's happening? Welcome back to a way too late matchday reaction from Sunday's game at Ibrox. Rangers 2, Aberdeen 0. It is Wednesday as I'm recording this, 3 days after the game. An absolutely abysmal Aberdeen performance that we will break down in a little bit of detail, but to be honest, we've got to talk more about just how this season has been. Just a dismal Aberdeen performance on Sunday. A really disappointing way to end our wee season against Rangers, considering we've had 3 wins against them, all in Glasgow. This was our 4th visit to Glasgow to play them this season, and we just absolutely surrendered, and it was dreadful. Absolutely awful performance for Aberdeen. I thought Rangers were good, but I didn't think Rangers were brilliant by any means. We let them play in our half. We gave them so much space in our half to settle on the ball, knock it around and wait for openings. Granted, it took 2 spot kicks to beat us. I kind of just want to batter through the refereeing decisions actually in this game because I didn't want to focus on it too much because it's important to talk about, but I think it's more important to talk about the Aberdeen performance. So the 3 main refereeing decisions. Early in the first half or midway through the first half, Jermaine Defoe goes in for a challenge with Joe Lewis, raises his hand, catches Lewis in the face. It is an absolute guaranteed, at least booking. You could have argued a red card there. You can also make the argument that he sort of saw Lewis coming and stuck his hand out like that. And if you want to make that argument, then fine. But it's a booking because it's careless. If you don't want to make that argument, then he had to walk. So it's really up to you. I've seen it a few times, to be honest, and I'm really not sure if it's a yellow or a red card. But I know it wasn't nothing. That's the most important thing. Obviously, he's done the handball about 10 minutes later, the really stupid one that's gotten booked. So if he had been booked, he might have been sent off for that, and we might have seen a wee bit of a different game. But at the same time, when I say we might have seen a wee bit of a different game, they obviously got Morelos sent off after about 10 minutes up at Pittodrie on the first day of the season. And I actually thought we were much worse on Sunday than we were on the first day of the season. So it might not have made a fucking difference. The 2 penalties, obviously Katic is the one that's gone down for them. I think that the first one he's gone down theatrically, but Ferguson has caught him. So I would argue, honestly, the first one was a penalty. If it wasn't for the fact that it looked like Jermaine Defoe was fouling Ferguson right before Ferguson got to Katic. I don't think you can really criticise Katic for going down on the first one because I think that Ferguson tramples on his foot, so I don't really think there's an argument in that sense. The only argument really is whether you think Defoe was fouling Ferguson immediately before it. I thought he was, but you know, I think the people who are claiming that Katic dived for the first one are kind of kidding themselves. Ferguson has stood on his foot and he's well within his right to go down. Tavernier sends the goalkeeper the wrong way for 1-0. The second penalty is shocking, to be honest. Now, Considine, I always criticise Considine for always having his hands up. He's always grabbing at shirts. He's always got his hands in the air. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. But yeah, that one I thought was a soft as anything penalty. I'm sure there'll be Rangers fans in the comments who think it was a stick on. Even your manager thought it was a shocker. So Considine obviously a wee bit unlucky to be sent off. But I've got to say as well, the fact that he had his hand in the air like that gives the referee an opportunity to make a decision. And in that sense, I didn't have a lot of sympathy for Considine. I don't think there was any real intent or anything that should have caused Katic to go down. But when you lift your arm, you give them the opportunity. And this is the thing for me. Katic can obviously be really criticised for going down easily, but I also think at the same time, you can't have any sympathy for Considine. You've got to be nuanced, and there's more than one thing that can be true at once. Tavernier this time sends it to the left. Lewis dives the right way. Can he get there? Good penalty, 2-0. Rangers probably should have scored more than 2. They deserve to beat us by more than 2, but they spent a lot of that time going sideways, and they really didn't look like creating a lot. Granted, they had a few openings where Joe Lewis made a couple of great saves. There was one in the first half from Jermaine Defoe where it's been a through ball that's been deflected into Defoe's path. Defoe looks like he's finished it expertly, but Lewis has been able to parry it around the post. There was another couple where Lewis made himself big and made some saves with his chest. There were times in that game where Rangers really weren't going anywhere, but at the same time, they were really able to dictate the pace, control possession, and not only that, have very meaningful possession in our half, and that was what really frustrated me. But the most frustrating thing from an Aberdeen point of view was just how far back we retreated constantly in that game. We were defending on the edge of our box constantly in that game. And to be honest, even after they went 1-0 up, we didn't really change the game plan that much, and that's what really, really bugged me. I thought that we were so negative, and I think too often this season we have been hammer-throwing bastards. Now, I didn't think we were particularly dirty on Sunday, but at the same time, I felt we played like a hammer-throwing team. We played like a team whose only interest was to sit back, soak up pressure, and punt the ball up the park to a big striker, and it was mind-numbing. That's been the most frustrating thing about this season. And I think that's why there's a malaise among the Aberdeen support this season. There was just a weird atmosphere about that game on Sunday, and the away support really wasn't that up for it, and the team fucking weren't up for it either. The team were lazy, they were slow, they were passive, and it was just dreadful to watch. And that malaise that I'm talking about is kind of coming from too many performances like that. Now, this season's been really weird. There's been some unbelievably great moments this season. If you go from like Ferguson's overhead kick against Burnley to Ferguson's header against Rangers at Hampden to the 2 wins at Ibrox to a few other things like that, there's been a lot of really memorable moments this season. But it has been surrounded by some absolutely chronic performances. And not just the performances, but the style of football we are playing this season. Yeah, I know over the last couple of years, we've lost important guys who are very good football players. I think that overall, what we have done to rectify that problem is just turn ourselves into a long ball team. And the funny thing is, like, I know there will be a lot of Aberdeen fans out there who hate that moniker, but it's 100% true about this team, and it's just dreadful. It's so bad to watch. Like, that team on Sunday was struggling to string together some of the most simple passes imaginable. It was kind of what this season has become, and I think that Rangers will probably look at that game on Sunday and no believe they lost 3 times to us. I know we're missing guys, and I know when Conor McLennan went off injured early, it removed all of our pace, but we continued to be a team that sat back, tried to defend on the edge of our box and hit them on the break. But when we tried to hit them on the break, we had no pace and we had no width, and it was just a plan that was never ever going to work. So all we really resorted to was punting balls at Cosgrove's Heed with no one supporting them, and it was just awful to watch, absolutely awful to watch. And even when we had an opportunity to bring the ball in and have a wee bit of meaningful possession, we would just cough it up so easily. It was an awful Aberdeen performance, and too many of them we've seen this season. And the other thing that concerns me is that was the second game in 3 we've been missing Shinnie. He missed the semi-final due to suspension, and then he missed Sunday's game because of injury. And we are a terrible team without Graham Shinnie. Now, Lewis Ferguson tries to become a different player, and it doesn't suit him. And Stephen Gleeson just is an average football player, to be honest. I think he came in with a decent pedigree, but we really haven't seen much out of him. We've seen 1 or 2 alright performances, but we haven't seen anything that justifies the fact that that was seen as an exciting midfield signing in the summer. And I think that's obviously a lot of criticism that's got to go to Derek McInnes. The recruitment, since we've lost our important players, has been abject, to be completely honest. We brought in Mikey Devlin, who's good, but kind of often injured. We brought back Niall McGinn, who was actually starting to hit a wee bit of form recently before he got injured. And we brought in Lewis Ferguson, who's been a good player, although his last couple of visits to Glasgow he's been left wanting. Other than that, there really isn't a lot to say about our recruitment, especially signing guys. We've actually done okay with some loans. Like, Max Lowe's been a good player, although he was so bad on Sunday. But I think overall, McInnes' recruitment has really got to be called into question. And I think that there is a lot to worry about, and I honestly wonder, and I know there'll be Aberdeen fans out there who want McInnes out, right? I'm kind of undecided on that. I would prefer him to stay, but I would prefer him to be a wee bit more flexible with how he lines his team up, and a wee bit more interested in going out and doing something a wee bit different with his recruitment. I don't think Derek McInnes has signed a single player since he's been Aberdeen manager who hadn't already played in British football. And when you look at certain things like the way Hearts recruit, and I know Hearts sign 8 million players and hope 2 or 3 of them turn out, but they're at least creative. You look at Hibs going out and signing like guys like Canberry, who I know has been a lazy bastard this season, but is a talented football player. And we see that imagination for other teams, going out and taking a chance on guys. And we really haven't done that at all since Derek McInnes has been here. Anytime we've signed a guy who isn't British, he's already played in Scotland, or he's already played at least in England. And it's just, it's predictable and it's boring, and I would like to see us go out and just try and do something a wee bit different. No way everybody. There's nothing wrong with going out and signing guys who have experience in British football, experience in Scottish football, who've proven they can hack it, but there's just no creativity whatsoever. And we've gone out, like in this summer, we signed Gleeson, who's really not had an impact. We spent money on Chris Forrester, who we released in like February. And just, if you go up and down the recruitment, it's really not been interesting. It's really not been exciting. It's really been basic, and it's really been boring. The one guy who stood out was Max Lowe, who was on loan, and we were, to be honest, kind of lucky to get him back for the second half of the season. And I would just like to see something different done next season, and I'll be honest, I can't wait for this season to end. So, we've got 3 games left. We've got Celtic at home on Saturday. That's going to be a pain in the arse, because a draw is good enough for them to win the league. They'll be fucking everywhere on Saturday, and it's going to be a nightmare. We then finish off with Hearts at home and Hibs away. And we're 3 points ahead of Kilmarnock. They have a better goal difference. So, to be honest, like, I wouldn't say they're the favourites. I would honestly still say we're the favourites to finish third. But at the same time, I think there's probably a lot of people out there who feel like Kilmarnock deserve to finish third. They have been impressive this season, and to be honest, the only reason they aren't third is because our record against them has been really good. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, I honestly can't wait for this season to end. If we finish third, I didn't see it as a success. If we finish fourth, I see that as a failure. So we'll see what happens over the next few. But Rangers have obviously wrapped up second place. That's disappointing for us as well, although to be honest, I think that's more an indication of them than us, because they really, with the resources they've had, should have done it the last 2 seasons, but didn't do it. And they've done it this season, and I kind of feel like we've got nobody to blame but ourselves at the same time. Rangers look a wee bit better over the last sort of like month or so, but again, on Sunday, I felt they were a team that were kind of just going through the motions, kind of going from side to side. They had some nice, intricate passing plays. I actually thought Tavernier, his goal for open play that got disallowed, you could probably make an argument that was onside, because I think the rule for offside is that a part of your body that can score a goal has to be offside for you to be offside. And I think the only part of Tavernier that was offside was like his right arm or something like that. I might be wrong because it was really, really tight, but he was a wee bit unlucky. And that was after a really good passing move. But other than that, I still think Rangers, if you keep them at bay, can be kept out. But the problem is that they have certain guys who can win games. I thought Ryan Kent on Sunday lacked a wee bit of a final ball, but nobody could get near him when he had the ball at his feet. Glenn Kamara, we stood off and made him look like fucking Xavi. I couldn't believe our performance with Glenn Kamara. He absolutely strolled that game. His range of passing was really, really good, but we put him under no pressure whatsoever. Rangers absolutely deserved to win the game on Sunday. They were all over us for pretty much the 90 minutes. You were kind of hoping if we got into half-time at 0-0, we would get our act together. But we did get in at half-time 0-0 and nothing changed. We'll wrap up just now because I really didn't have a lot to say. Just a last thing, Joe Lewis was tremendous. No one else gets pass marks. So we'll wrap up just now. If you enjoyed, hit the red button. I would appreciate a subscription for you. Like the video as well if you enjoyed it. It helps it get out there. And if you know anybody who'd enjoy it, share it with them. I've been QMJ. I really can't wait for the season to end, but I'll talk to you again sometime.